everyone, welcome back to my Beach Angel Tarot Shop. I'm here to do my weekly reading, and weekly reading is focused on the energy of love, romance, and partnership, and is for the week of January 10th through January 16th. We're going to see what Spirit has for everyone. Do keep in mind, this is a general message. We're going to be using the Under the Rose Lenormand, the Romance Angels, the Thelema deck, and we're going to ask what needs to be released in this upcoming week for the energies, to improve the energies of our love lives and romance in our lives. So we're going to see. We're going to start with this. And before we get started, Spirit is showing me a bit of a change coming. There is some balance being worked out energetically right now. But you're going to find soon things are going to move in a positive direction. So if you've kind of come into a lull or, you know, an unsure energy or feeling things like things aren't fair or whatever, things are going to change soon. The energy is going to shift and change coming forward. I'm not sure if it's going to be in this week, but they are showing me that there's going to be movement. For some, this is going to come as actual travel or trips. So just keep that in mind. But there is definitely a change coming that they can kind of see out ahead, and there's going to be more success. There's going to be more balance in give and take and communication, perhaps. So just keep that in mind for those that are maybe feeling a lull or some wonky energy. So we're going to see what needs to be surrendered in this upcoming week for improving our love lives, improving relationships. And I feel it's this one giving me the, oh wow. And this one is the surrender your fear of intimacy. And it says you are ready to let love in, compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. So, and I feel it could be on both sides. I'm seeing both people in the card. Sometimes we just see one person. So I feel it's for you in whatever relationship you're in. If you are single, this will of course just be for yourself. But you want to be careful of any kind of patterns that you have inside of intimacy and the fears of getting closer. So it could be that you're both kind of putting walls up, which can feel like a bit of separation. It can feel a little bit funny in energy. And I feel that for those that are in relationships, you can both feel that. So it may actually add to it. And it could be why Spirit was showing me out ahead. There's a change coming. But there's a need right now in this moment to look at any patterns you have around it. You may even feel or be thinking in your mind you're open to it, but there's some fears deep within or in your energy body that is kind of holding that fear of intimacy. So looking at that's going to be helpful to bring that change that Spirit was showing me about. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the Under the Rose. I'm going to just pull a couple cards from here and see what comes up. And I feel it's these two. What I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull all the cards and then I'm going to turn them over and see what I'm getting. So we're going to go with the Romance Angels. And there's one. Maybe just saying one. So it's only going to be one Romance Angels and the Thelema. So there's two there. So there's 5 cards here. There's 2 Under the Rose, 1 Romance, and 2 Thelema. So we're going to go with that. And 5 is a number of change. So there is definitely a change coming, as we had indicated, with the number 5. And we're going to see what the rose Under the Rose has. Then we have the bouquet. So something good coming. So the bouquet is always good energy, invitations, good offers of something positive. And we see the cloud. So this is interesting. We see the Queen of Swords and the King of Wands, the King of Clubs in this clouds card. And we see 6 and 9. So we're going to look at the, I'm just going to see what it just comes up. But I'm seeing the male and female energy definitely in between these two. I feel that the King is having a bit of confusion. There may be something going on. The male energy, because this always presents, it's been presenting for me sort of like those very important relationships within the twin flame community. And so I'm getting a lot of that now with the Queen of Swords and the King. So the female and the male energies, and I feel it's representing both. So I feel the female she's open in the sense of the flowers and with good energy around her. However, because she's presenting as the Queen of Swords, she too has, I feel it's coming from both, actually, like I had said. She too, even though she's open, maybe more so right now, she has better energy around her in general. she's got that sword energy up. So she's a bit in her mind, and that's taking it in. That is actually tying over and into the king's energy, sort of like they have their heads together. So you can see where I'm going with that energy in these two cards. It's pretty simplistic, really. So the air element of the swords for the female is going into the clouds energy of the king of wands. So the king of clubs is the king of wands in the cloud card, and the king of wands is an energy of passion, of romance, of, it could be sexuality as well. It can be a little bit of stubborn energy and fixed energy, and there's confusion around him. And it can just be that he's sensing that sword up within the queen, within the female side. So because they sense both of their energies, is how I understand it. So we are definitely seeing that coming up here, interestingly enough. So the Romance Angels card, we have let go of control issues. So wow, it's pretty interesting here how this is coming about. And it says allow the situation to unfold naturally. So not trying to control within the relationship without trying to, and it could be going along with the fear of intimacy. And that could be what comes up. Your fear creates needing to control, needing to place, your ideas of how things should look or how things should be, how the other person should be responding or not responding or whatever. That's part of the control, because your mind is thinking, they should have done this, they should have done that, and that's controlling the situation. That's controlling just the word, how you think it should be. The other person has other ideas, they have other things on their mind. So I feel that you're kind of like, for some, this is how this is coming up. So it can be in those subtle little ways where you just have a preconceived notion of how someone should respond to you, how fast they should get back to you, what's going on, and that is really coming up here in the cards, definitely showing and repeating here. So we're going to move on to the Thelema and see what they have for this week. And we have the Nine of Wands. So this card is all card of boundaries. So having some boundaries, putting some boundaries up around the energy of your relationships in whatever form they are coming this week. And it's also about defending what you have, defending what you own. And we can see this man sitting here, he's looking at something growing. It's like he's been watching, it's like, okay, this has been going on for quite a while. He's watching the vine grow up the wand in this card. So we're going to see, and then 9 is coming back to the Queen of Wands card. There's a 9 on this card. So we're going to the next one, and it's the Star. So this is a very, very beautiful card of hopes, dreams, aspirations, karmic connections, as you know. Relationships that are destined and meant to be, fate, destiny. Again, those twin flame, quote-unquote, relationships. Definitely coming up here. And it's the Two of Cups are represented in this card as well. And you can see that she's holding on to them. But she's really focused on this Star. She's focused on her faith and her spiritual team that is around her. And kind of letting go. It's like she has the hold of the cups. She has them in place in her hands, but she's letting things flow. And that's sort of like going back to the let go of control. So it's keeping your eye on it, knowing that this is a destined relationship. Things are going to come about in their timing. And I think timing was an issue from, was an energy that came up from last week. And we are seeing the moon behind her here, and I'm seeing a bit of a moon. Looks like and we're coming into the new moon, and it looks like a bit of that. You can see the dark moon. So the dark moon energy is coming up here. And I'm doing this on the 9th. So as we come into the new moon, you're going to see some change here is what I'm getting. The change could come after the new moon, and as it starts to, go back in the other direction, as it starts to wax again. So it's like the waxing moon phase. So that's what I'm getting. It could be 9 days past the new moon. You're going to see something that you want to see, something that you've had your eye on as well. But it's interesting how this is coming up. So they're looking at needing to surrender intimacy. These two cards are tying into each other with the Queen of Swords and the King of Clubs, the confusion in the air. It does indicate, though, that things will, become less confusing. You can see the clouds kind of moving off and, that energy clearing here in the front of this. So, but they are overlapping each other. They are connected to each other from what I'm getting from the feeling in it. Letting go of control, which means letting go of how your mind's thinking things should be or how the other person should be or respond. And the Nine of Wands is indicative of something, watching something develop, watching something grow. It's like I feel it's for some people in relationship. We see the Eight of Wands behind him, and it's like, okay, I've established communication. I've established some new endeavor, and it's like they're taking a resting period. It's all still going on, is what I'm getting from this. But they're taking a resting period and watching something develop. They're watching something grow on the new part of whatever was going on. So it's like, we got this behind us. We got the communication down. We started something new out of that. And it's like, what? It's this person's watching it grow. No, it's showing the male in this watching it grow. And it's showing in the meantime, while this is happening, maybe feeling like a standstill because of something this person's doing, the female is watching and keeping her eye on the stars, keeping that spiritual energy flowing is where I'm going with that. So it's like he's down here in the mundane world at this point, and watching something grow, watching something develop, guarding something that's been established, and she has her eye on the divine plan and is holding on to that, but letting the energy flow from above so below is what I'm getting from this. And I'm also getting 9 days into and past the new moon, because we're definitely seeing that new moon up here in the corner. I don't know if everyone can see it, but you can see it's the dark moon, and it looks like it's as it's coming back in, or it's hard to tell exactly which way, but I feel it's going to be 9 days, 8 or 9 days past that. You're going to see something develop. So right now, as you're watching this, let go of control. Take a breather. Something's going on here. I feel the male energy because they're showing the male in this card, and it can also be that he's, looking at something, or showing the door here, and it can be something that they're working on at home as well. Because this is going to come different ways for different people. So each person is going to have a little bit of one of the things I say and not so much of the other. So it's going to apply to some in one way and not the other. So I'm trying to get as many messages up as I can for what could be going on here. But it's definitely showing the female holding that vision, holding that spiritual energy, letting it flow, not getting caught in fears or control issues of the ego mind at this point, and letting things go. And in the meantime, definitely looking at and surrendering fears of intimacy and becoming closer, because it can be creating some confusing energy around this union. So I hope everyone has enjoyed the reading. I hope it has made sense and clarity for you, and to watch for my next video, which I may be posting an angel weekly reading too. I'm not sure. I'm kind of starting to be guided to do that, and I haven't, I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to do it this week, but I may be starting that as well. So I'm sending everyone angel blessings and oceans of love. Hugs.